What's going on out there? Today I would like to have a discussion on petty, jealous, and illogical people. That's what I want to do today. I want to talk about that. Now, how does that relate to you? Good question. Well, if you're thinking, you'll know that it relates to your development, how you deal with other people, what happens when you deal with those people, right? And what do you do going forward? When you're dealing with petty, jealous, and illogical people, meaning men or women, people who have displaced values, dysfunctional mindsets, insecurities, and all of those things that create the types of people that you want to avoid. You know? Then they're petty because they do things that are very trivial and they're very childlike in that pettiness, right? With that, you know, because they want you to seek their validation, they may play these games where they try to ignore you. And if you were 5 years old, you would really want that attention, so you would run behind the group and you'd be trying to be accepted and all types of things like that. And the people who do these things as adults, they are the children, and you can see this. They are the children who just couldn't get it together, who just never recoup from that. And I think that when we study psychology, the first place we need to look and take a gander at is in your childhood, because your childhood is how you were impressioned. You've heard this over and over and over again. And if you're wondering, well, maybe you need to start listening. Maybe you need to start trying to get to that place in your own thoughts where you're realizing, your childhood wasn't always the best. And some of the things that you didn't learn in childhood are why you're just anal retentive as adults. You're petty. Okay? Now, jealousy. Jealousy is one of those things that I really loathe this, because naturally humans are inclined to be jealous. But if you keep those things inside and you deal with them and you realize that you are someone, then you don't have to worry about, the overcoming effects of that jealousy. Women. I've seen situations where women, in office settings, because I talk about the office a lot. I used to work in the office environment, and there was a lot of people in there, and you just saw these things every day. It was something to observe. But the women, okay, the women would do things like be really, really catty and stuck up, not for a good reason, not because they're being creeped out by someone, but just being stuck up because they're overtly, obsessed with themselves. And they want that attention. They're attention whores, and they really need that attention. And so to make you, want their validation or seek it, they will try to play games. If you speak to them, you're just speaking. You're saying, hey, hello, how you doing? And because they want you to favor them, they will ignore you and play some type of mind game. Now, a grown, mature man who's really not interested in crazy women is not going to feed into that type of behavior. They're just going to ignore you because clearly there's something wrong. And you guys don't get that. So when you call that man stuck up, it's not that. It's just he knows some things about you that he's trying to avoid, that he doesn't think would be beneficial to him to get into. You get what I'm saying, right? That makes sense, right? So you're jealous, and you will do these things. You'll play these games with these men, and then on another date in the future sometime, right, you'll see this very same guy, and he'll be with someone else. He'll be talking to another woman, and she'll be giving him attention, and she'll be, feeding the conversation and doing all of the right things, to which you will discard that man. Now, when I say that, you never had him to throw him away, but you're going to discard him as far as his overall value. And what you're going to do is you're going to talk about him. You're going to character assassinate. You're going to call him a dog because he's talking to some woman. You're going to call that woman a slut because she's talking to this guy. You see, you're jealous. You're jealous because that attention that you wanted, that you sought out, is not being delivered to you. But you're not worthy of the attention. See, that's what I want you guys to focus on, right? For the ladies out there who just don't get this. You know, you have to improve some things about yourself on a physical level and on a mental level, especially if you want to even be received or treated, you know, like you're worth anything. I don't like crazy women. I don't. I really don't. They're a waste of my time, right? So I don't deal with those types of women, right? So if you're a woman and you have a little baddie things going on, baddie issues, and you don't have your life together and you're poor or something, don't expect to get a grade A man, because you're not going to get that. Now, speaking of men, the jealous man, right, is a whole entirely different can of worms that we don't want to open, but we're going to do it for the purpose of this discussion. Let's open this can, okay? Now, the man. Men are similar to women these days, and it's very interesting because there are two different separate sexes. And some of the cultures that men buy into now are more feminine. So men, because they're raised by a lot of single women, they tend to think like those single women. And that jealousy transcends, you know, their manliness, right? And that pettiness, you know, is what they want to be. So they don't have a choice in this, because this is where they do have a choice. Let me put it like that. They do have a choice. However, they're not functionally aware of the choices that they have. So these men, you know, same situation, same deal. I'll reverse the situation for you. You have a woman in the office, okay, and she's attractive. Now, this is a professional setting. Just because people are attractive in the world at large does not mean that every single person that you see who has a nice body or who is beautiful or something, that you're supposed to try to bed these people. See, these men are not raised by men, and so they don't know how to think and hold standards, right? They're not James Bond types of guys. They're not alphas, right? They'll take anything they can get. They're desperate. They beg. They grovel for things that have no value. So this woman in the office, you know, she's attractive, and, you know, and there's a colleague of this person, this man, and this colleague is more secure and alpha and all of the things, and funny and witty and smart and all of the things that this woman is attracted to. So she, you know, she may be taken, and it's not about a relationship, but she may just want to know this man on a level as a friend, because he's worth something to her, you know. Some of these other guys are creeps. The first minute that she gives them a chance to you know, talk to her or something, they're going to creep her out by saying things. Can I pull your hair? Can I touch your breast? You know, overtly foolish and despicable, you know, things that they're going to say, because they don't have grounding, right? They weren't raised by men, so they don't know how to conduct themselves as men, and, you know, they seek instant gratification, right? Sound familiar, right? More like feminine characteristic, but that's what they do. And people in general do these things, okay? Not to pick on women, but, and so, you know, they'll say things because they're looking at a beautiful woman, and because they used to have a lot of Vaseline when they were 16 and standing in a room and, you know, tube socks and beat off or something, whatever they were doing, because they were doing these things, you know, then that is why they have a dysfunction as adults, and that's why they're desperate, right? They spent many, many hours looking at porn tapes and going into their dad's, you know, magazine collection and all types of stuff that they did. And that's healthy for a typical red-blooded, you know, teenager, right? Normal, pretty normal. But the thing about that is that when you don't know how to turn that crap off, when you don't know how to shut that off and become an adult and face the real world. And that was just a little sad example there, folks, of how people, you know, of what takes them to these moments when they don't know what to say to these women. So this woman is talking to this other guy, and they're getting along well. They may have lunch or do some things, and the guy who wants this woman, because he never saw her as a person to even realize that he doesn't have anything in common with her, because she's an object. She's not really a person. You know, she may as well be a screwdriver or something sitting on the counter or something. And so you see her, And, you know, because you saw her first visually, you believe that you're entitled to her, even though she has her own mind, she has her own, you know, life and things that she's interested in, and none of those things match with you. So you're jealous, and because you don't know how to handle your feelings, you take it out on a guy that she likes. So you do everything to undermine this guy. Whenever you talk to this woman, you're saying negative things about this guy. He's a creep, he's this, he's that, he's a dog, he's trying to play you. And meanwhile, that woman, because she's probably an alpha woman, she's looking at you like a beta, and she's laughing in her mind, because you'll never get to first base. Never. You think you are because you're trying to use another man and piggyback off of him to get something, but that woman is not even interested in you at all. She has no interest. So what she'll do is, because that man is alpha, she'll use an opportunity later on to talk to this guy and explain to him what you said about him, right? So now you have some bad blood, because you're going around slandering other men in the office, and then you expect them to like you and talk to you because you have those characteristics. You're two-faced, you're duplicitous, right? You're catty, just like women. You're catty. And so you expect that man, that real man, that alpha, to bow down to you and be your friend even after he knows what you said about him and how you tried to derail him or something. He doesn't even want this woman, right? You'll never have her, but you're like, shit, if I can't have her, no one will. So you do these things. And the woman knows this. Meanwhile, she goes out with that guy and they get it on. You lose. You're a beta. So you're jealous. Now, when we get to illogical natures, right? The last component of this discussion, illogical mindset, men or women, because the person does not like you anyway, because the person is not attracted to you, right? There is no reason for you to even feel any type of way one way or another, because they don't even know who you are. And that's why you're obsessive, like as if you're crazy, right? You have no idea how you look to some rationally sane person when you do these things. You have no idea, right? So you're very illogical in how you approach, you know, the situation, and you're thinking about what you should be entitled to, men and women, right? That woman, you know, ignored you last week when you walk by and say hello. When she sees you having a lunch meeting with some other woman, she's upset. So then when you see her the following week, she doesn't speak. She doesn't have anything to say to you any given day of the week. You haven't done anything to this woman. You haven't said anything to her, but somehow she's upset with you on a level that requires her to ignore you, because you should have paid attention to her. See how we're going back to childhood? So I want you guys to understand that in most cases, you have been this person, or you're currently dealing with such person right now. And I want you guys, you know, I understand how you feel. I never liked these types of people. I never liked guys like this. These were the guys in high school who, you know, who jerked off a lot, right? These were those guys. I hate to be so vulgar, but these were those guys, you know. And they would sit back, you know, in the gym when we had a little, you know, dance or something, and they would sit back and they would hold their cup of punch and nurse their cup of punch, and they would stand against the wall and look at all the pretty girls dancing with you, and they would comment, look at him, look what he's doing, look what he's doing about. Just like catty women, right? So there's a common ground there for petty, jealous, and illogical people, men and women, because I've done 2 videos, and I recommend you guys go back in my archives and check out those 2 videos. Petty, jealous, and illogical man, petty, jealous, and illogical woman, right? Because you're either one of these sexes. And so if you want to get a more specific understanding of something that's done in the name of the pettiness and the jealousy and the illogical mindset, go look at those videos, and that'll catch you up. And this one also is a collective of those 2 videos. So, you know, I just want you guys to understand, if you're these type of people, right, people don't like you. Don't even ask why. It doesn't even matter. We don't even have to go into the research or try to get to your mind like that. I'm just going to just voice this to you, that people don't like you, right? Women are not attracted to you guys who are beta, right? Women, For the men out there who you think that should date you, they're not attracted to you, right? Because you're petty and you're crazy, right? Those two components create environments where women sit around and talk about what guys don't do and vice versa. But in reality, if you guys sat back and looked at yourselves, you would get the real answer. The answer is something is wrong with you, not the person. You know? I love bad behavior. I don't love petty, jealous, and illogical people. Never seen them do anything worth anything as far as, fostering good friendships. Never seen them do anything in the name of, enriching a social connection, right? Never seen them do it. If anything, they'll use these opportunities to take something from you or to harm you or to steal your friends or your girlfriend or something, right? Or your guy. That's why you're bad people. You folks like the videos and share the videos and subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. See you later.